Welcome to this episode of Student Success Heroes, a podcast by Engineerica Systems. I'm Janelle Connor and I will be your host for this episode. With this podcast, we wish to highlight and celebrate the stories of our higher educational professionals who strive to make a difference in the lives of their students. So often we are impressed by our educators, and in these times of global pandemic, it is no different. A couple of weeks ago, we spoke to Melissa Sprock, Director of the Learning Center and Foundations Program for Indiana Wesleyan University, regarding some of their recent strategies and goals for student success. We also discussed the impact the pandemic has had on their services and how their staff are responding. Let's get started.
My name is Melissa Sprock. I work at Indiana Wesleyan University in Marion, Indiana. My position is the director of the Learning Center and Foundations Program. Our school is a small, private, 4-year liberal arts institution, and we serve around 2,600 students on site in Marion. My position includes overseeing the Learning Center, but also supporting conditionally admitted students with low ACT, SAT scores or low high school GPA. So I teach a class for them and also connect them to services like tutoring.
Excellent. Is that a mandated class for them?
Yes.
Is it a student skills, student success types of class?
Yeah, student success class.
Excellent. Yeah. I remember taking that at my college. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun and learned about goal setting and writing resumes and just different life skills that I needed at the time.
Right. And that's what I hope. I hope it's not only academic based, like there's skills that are transferable outside the academic realm. So it helps academically, but also helps personally to continue to grow and learn even outside the college environment.
Definitely. And tell me a little bit about your center and the services that you provide to students and what your mission is.
Yeah, so our tutoring center is located in the lower level of our library. We can't call it the basement of our library because librarians get frustrated because it's very bright and welcoming. So we want it to be a place where students really want to come. And they do. We've grown so much over the last 5 years when we started the Learning Center. We have anywhere from 30 to 35 tutors on our staff serving general education classes. And then also serving our nursing program and our sciences. And then we also serve highly requested classes or frequently failed classes. So our center also supports our TRIO program, the federally funded grant that allows students who qualify for the program to receive free one-on-one tutoring.
Wow.
So there's some services that are happening. We also do academic coaching out of our Learning Center. We call it the huddle, where students can sign up for one-on-one academic coaching with a trained staff member to help them hopefully succeed academically and reach their academic potential. But mostly our center is really focused on helping students to thrive academically, whatever that looks like for them, providing support that's research-based that helps students succeed academically, but also just provide support and encouragement along the journey. We want tutors to not only offer content-based support, but also academic skills support and relational support. So we're trying to be holistic in our center. So yeah, those are some of our values, and AccuTrack specifically helps us with tracking how students are feeling about the services through the reporting feature or the surveying feature, as well as seeing how often the students are coming back for our services, which kind of intuitively tells us how we're doing. So those are some of the ways that AccuTrack serves our center in those values.
Oh, that's great. So you're using the surveying feature to get feedback from students. And I'm sure with the TRIO program and all these other many programs you have, you're looking at the data.
Yes.
And seeing what students are coming and being able to report on that, correct?
Correct.
So do you work directly with your deans? It sounds like you're supporting a lot of different programs.
We are. What I have put in place is an advisory board that has our faculty and administration from both sides of the university. So the administrative kind of student support side, and then the faculty side. And we come together every semester to look at the data and to look at our support and establish goals and commitments together based on the data and based on the needs of our students and tutors. So that's how we collaborate or come together to make sure that the students' best interests are in mind as we serve them.
Great. And what are some of your more recent goals that you've come up with together with your advisory board?
Yeah, so one is to diversify our tutoring staff to reflect the students that are coming. So some of AccuTrack's data that they can bring in with race demographics, gender demographics, some of those we were finding that we had a lot of female tutors, not a lot of males. So we wanted to diversify and make sure that we were serving with the tutors that we had on our staff, as well as race demographics. So that was one value or goal that we were trying to pay attention to and recruit more intentionally.
Okay.
We also saw that 60% of our tutoring was going toward the nursing program. And so we added more advisory members from that team of faculty. And we've done some more intentional partnerships with them. So our tutoring center is not a drop-in center. It's a group-based semester-long commitment.
Like a group appointment or a single appointment?
Yeah, so when they sign up for tutoring, we ask them to attend weekly for 4 weeks. And then after that, they can discontinue tutoring or they can continue for as long as they need it. So we're not a drop-in center where they can have a one-time and done tutoring appointment.
Sure.
We are partnering, though, with the nursing program to establish more initiatives that maybe can be more assignment-based. So they have like a care plan. We offered our tutors to do an event with the nursing program to support the first rendition or the first draft of their care plan. So that was a good partnership. So we're trying to think of more partnerships where we don't only have to do semester-long tutoring commitments, but also can tutor them with project-based tutoring.
Excellent. Now, is that the CARE program, the continuous? I can't remember what it stands for.
Think the CARE. I don't know if it's an acronym, but all nursing majors have to write a care plan for a patient.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's pretty tricky the first time around for nursing students, and a lot of them, their first draft is not great.
Yeah.
From what we understand, the faculty would like a lot more support in helping them come up with better first and second drafts. So that's where our tutoring team and faculty partnered to have some drop-in support for those care plans.
Understandable.
So that's one initiative. We wanted to have better communication with faculty regarding who was using the services.
Yeah.
And what gaps we were having in filling requests. So that was another initiative to make more partnerships with faculty across the university, not just with those that were on our board. So the faculty on our board were trying to help us make stronger connections with other departments.
Great. Have you set up some new communication methods with them then?
Yeah, so this fall, 2 initiatives came out of that conversation with the board. One was I was a lot more intentional about doing the automated reports to faculty regarding usage of the center.
Scheduled reports?
Yeah, scheduled reports. So those were set up. We had a little bit of a tricky time. I first did it on my computer, and then if my computer wasn't on, it didn't send, and I had a learning curve for having to re-trigger all that stuff. So yeah, it was good for me to learn all this.
Hopefully we were helpful in that.
Yes. It was helpful to contact support at AccuTrack and try to figure all that out. Now we've moved to sending it out from our desktop in our lab because that's always on. Although since COVID started, I am now I know that there's automatic updates to those computers, and they automatically shut down like every week. So that's been complicated.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what challenges you've had since the pandemic broke out.
That's one of them.
That sounds like a big one.
Yes. If you're not on site with the computer that's sending out your reports, then it's tricky. You're going to need to change all your reports to your laptop or somebody's laptop that's on more than that one. So that's one of the challenges. And then the other initiative that came out of that was the dean of the whole university. One of the deans sent out an email to all of the faculty on our behalf regarding how to sign up for a tutor and some specifics about the tutoring requests around 2 weeks into the semester to remind faculty of our support center.
Oh, good. So you're still able to provide some support remotely then?
Yes. So we are utilizing Zoom for all of our tutoring groups that have been running. We are still tracking tutoring and utilizing the center just remotely.
Excellent. Have you seen a change in the number of students reaching out to you now that it's remote?
Yeah, so we were I think we were around 2/3 of the way through our semester when our university transitioned to online. So we were not receiving any more tutoring requests at that time. So our groups were pretty set, but we did have students after we reached out to them who were in our groups say that they no longer wanted tutoring support because the online platform wouldn't work for them. So whether that was preference or internet connection or, they were feeling like they were doing fine in the class, we did see a drop in participation in tutoring after we went online.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, if they'd already completed the required tutoring and also now they're at home and they have other distractions there and they're still able to get through their courses, then that's understandable. I know I spoke to someone else who similarly their students had set time schedules. They were supposed to be having group tutoring and yet they couldn't make it because, say, the time was no longer viable now that they're at home around their family.
Right.
Are there other challenges you've had due to the pandemic?
So we talked a little bit about our center is a network-based center, and so it's connected to a lab, a single center lab.
Yes.
And so we've had to do manual data entry, my partner and I.
And that's because it's a desktop application.
Right.
That's sitting on a computer in your lab, in your center.
Right. So students swipe in and out when they come to our lab. That's how we track tutor payroll and run reports. Tutors swipe in and swipe out at the lab. So it's a physical location that tutors and tutees didn't have access to with online platforms. So my team has been entering all the hours one by one into AccuTrack via a VPN connection.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Fun for you.
So that's not very fun, but it could be worse.
Yes.
So.
Well, we will have to get you on a cloud-based system here.
Yes. We're going to have to advocate with my university administrators to up that budget line.
That would help solve that. And how has your communication with your team been? Has it been hard to get together and meet, or has it been fairly easy? Do you have set times to talk to your team?
Yeah, so our team meets pretty significantly at the beginning of the semester, and then we meet once a month for professional development and check-in, and then my partner and I are in the center every evening, informally checking in with our tutors during the year. So we continued those monthly check-in meetings. We made them smaller so that, the big groups on Zoom and on a computer are a little bit tricky, where everybody feels like they can talk and say how they're doing. But I think the loss has been the informal check-ins, the presence check-ins, I guess I could call them. But the formal check-ins, the professional development, I don't think it's the same online, but it's definitely something. And we've continued those, and they've been helpful to get a pulse on how tutoring is going with students, as well as how tutors are faring themselves with the pandemic and how tutoring is going for them.
Yeah. Do you have student tutors or peer tutors?
Yeah, that's what we have, peer tutors.
So have you found that they are having more stressors in their lives now that they're remote and at home and trying to accomplish school and tutor?
Yeah, so we had, probably a month of tutoring that happened during the pandemic. And the first week was really tricky. Some students jumped in and were, it was a lot easier for some than others. But you could tell that at least the first week, people were managing, or tutors were managing their own transition and emotions with the transition, and kind of picked back up that second week into the pandemic and third.
Sure.
So I do think there was a really significant adjustment curve for us all, not only with regard to services, but personally
yes.
and emotionally, the tutors needing to adjust to the loss of campus, the loss of graduation in person, and just the social connectedness piece, home and internet, and even home and, situations that they would face at home.
Yes.
So, I think it was a huge adjustment for us all. And so it took us a couple weeks to get into the swing of things.
Yeah. Has your school done anything to combat that, to build more connectedness and help those students who, aren't able to go on campus and have their graduation celebration? Is your school doing anything special to try and help?
Yeah, well, graduation specifically, we've moved our graduation to August. So there is going to be a alternate date for students who are willing and want to come back. There's going to be all the rigmarole. So we're going to try to celebrate a little later.
Yeah.
Our advancement team called every single senior and congratulated them on graduation day or left messages and, wanted to say personally how proud we are of them.
That's very sweet.
We've sent it really is sweet, I think. And we've sent all of our tutors notes, and we give them mugs for tutoring for us. So we sent those in the mail, and there's been, social media posts and videos congratulating and connecting. So
good.
We're trying to do it remotely. It's imperfect,
right.
But I think it's a gesture that says we're here with you.
Yes.
From a distance, standing with you as best we can.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like some great things you're doing. What is the current status of things? I think you said your semester has come to a close?
Yeah, we're entering into May term. Our May term is usually on site, but it's online. And summer is always online, so we've just transitioned the month course. That's just a 3-hour option for students, 3 credit hour, 3 to 4 credit hours, I guess, to an online option, and then summer will be totally online.
Will your center be open to provide services during that time?
We actually only provide services during the academic year, so fall and spring semester. So we don't provide tutoring services through May or summer.
Okay. Well, hopefully the students don't need you. No.
I know, right? Yeah, I hope not. But obviously they can, maybe this isn't obvious, but students can request tutoring services. And if we have a tutor on staff or one that's willing to tutor over the summer, we do special circumstances tutoring, but it's really rare for some reason. So.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's a shorter time period and students take a lesser load or they don't take a class and then they're able to push through it on their own.
It is nice to focus just on one thing, I think, for most students.
Well, you don't have any first time in college during this term, do you?
Correct.
Yeah. So that would also help to not need so much hand-holding.
Right.
So tell me, I've always kind of thought, and I've even talking to other professionals in education, I've seen a lot of resilience, a lot of problem solving, a lot of leadership that's come out of this pandemic and these challenges. Have you seen that as well with your team?
Yes. I think this does call out that we are better together, better supporting one another. We rise up stronger if we have each other to support. For instance, my assistant, who's amazing, she's a learning specialist in our center. She came up with a way to track tutoring online through a free attendance tracking site. And so we were able to train our tutors basically in an evening on how to enter their information of how to get paid and their student information of the students that were getting tutored. So that was awesome. Our tutors have supported each other through, just giving Zoom tips because we really didn't have time to train on online tutoring. Our center hasn't necessarily ventured out into the online realm. Most students prefer to be in person. So we've done a few online sessions with commuter students, but it's by far, not very much of our tutoring hours happen online. So we didn't have a lot of time to get to know Zoom and all the capacities that it has for making tutoring work. So that's been cool to see them share tips and tricks with each other as they learn how to make the tutoring session more interactive, because we know that that's how students learn, is not the tutor talking the whole time, but the students engaged in learning. So it's hard when there's only a two-dimensional kind of relationship instead of like the energy and the rapport that's built in a room of people and groups.
So what are some of the ideas they came up with and shared?
Well, mostly they had to do with the Zoom capabilities. So like breakout groups were really important for smaller groups to get together and share and come back to the group and present or teach the other groups. Some were the co-presenting options in Zoom where not only can tutors share their screens, but the tutees can share their screens and what they're doing. Some of them would tell us about how they use different whiteboards online, and Zoom doesn't have an awesome whiteboard capacity, or at least for the sciences. And so they were sharing, other tech resources to make tutoring better. So I loved how they were helping each other to figure out better ways. And we weren't training on that. They were training each other.
Great. You have some great collaboration going.
Yes.
Well, tell me, are there any other lessons that you've learned or any major wins or positives, things that have come from this that you're going to take forward as we move onward?
Yeah, I think one thing is that the online world isn't as scary for tutors as maybe they thought it would be. I think we don't serve commuter students as well as I would like. And I think with our practice over COVID pandemic, we're maybe more able to expand our center and our capacity to serve a broader population than just residential. So I think that's one thing that I'm excited about that we could do better at or utilize in a stronger way.
Yeah.
I think other than that, I still want to be together again soon. So I'd rather not do this indefinitely. But
yeah, there's nothing like being together.
Yeah,
face to
there
face.
isn't. But obviously, it's awesome to see the resilience of your team and to cheer that on and to see people's work ethic who still want to do well or serve students, partner with them to learn together. So, yeah, that's been encouraging too.
Excellent. Do you think you'll be opening and kind of back to normal in the fall?
So the governor of Indiana just issued a reopening timeline, and we're supposed to be reopened completely, all sectors, by July 4th. So I think we're on track for being on site. However, the next, obviously, 6 weeks or so will show if that process of reopening will slow down or be on track. I think we're all having to hold our hands open and say maybe instead of definite anything these days.
Yes.
So we're hoping, we hope so. And if we go the way the timeline says, then we should be back in the fall.
So how about this as a closing question? What inspired you to get into education? Was it a specific person, like another educator? Did you just happen to get a job in a school? What was your path into education?
Yeah. Well, I have an education degree in college. Partly my parents were in education, so it was familiar. But I think it's been honed over the years and specifically emphasized the college level academic journey, mostly because I believe that education gives access to all people and not just a few. So if we could bridge the academic access barrier, then I'm hoping that we could address some of the inequalities in our nation regarding advancement and opportunity. So obviously those who receive a college degree have a lot more likelihood for opportunity, for job advancement, for income earning, the list goes, it's so many points long.
Yes.
But so I love supporting students toward that goal because I think it gives them access to lots after college. And that's why I work with students who may be underprepared for college in some way, or maybe come in as the unlikely candidates for a degree, and then get them support that they need or access that they need to support services that can help them to reach that goal of graduation. And I also believe that education is just not about getting the degree, but it's the process of becoming that happens in education. So I love journeying with students in the process of learning, not just the outcome of learning. So whether that's, them getting to know themselves as a learner or as a person or figuring out what it means to thrive in life, it's just a really exciting job, exciting time. And I get to come alongside a lot of them through my work in the Learning Center, helping them get the peer support and academic support that they need, as well as I get to come alongside them as a professor in the academic and personal side as well. So it's a really rewarding place to be, and love coming to work.
Awesome. That's wonderful. And it sounds like you are making a difference, which we all strive to do. And
yeah, well, they're at least making a difference in me. So I can say that I'm changed because of my work. So
that's amazing. So, well, thank you so much. How long have you been at Indiana Wesleyan?
So in this position, 5 years. So I have been at the university 11. I was in student development prior to academic support. So I served housing and RDs before coming over to the academic support side.
Oh, fun.
So yeah.
Cool. I was at Valencia for 11 years also. So before I went to Engineerica.
Really?
Yeah. I worked at Valencia College.
How long have you been with Engineerica?
3 years. So.
Okay. Yeah. So you were just there a minute ago.
It seems like it. It definitely seems like it. And I still have lots of friends there, and I loved it. And
how did they recruit
get to work
you?
with them.
Yeah, how did they find you?
At Engineerica? Well, I was actually looking for something at Valencia, but the openings that they had at the time, none of them spoke to me. And I was looking for something that had a broader range of support and helping. And when I saw the position at Engineerica and saw that they work with lots of different colleges and universities, I was like, ooh, that sounds really interesting. I could learn about the tools that help them and then get to work with a bunch of different schools. And that really appealed to me. Right. And I've loved it. I've been able to go to conferences and meet a bunch of different people and help people implement software that helps them do their jobs better. So it's been a lot of fun.
Good. That's great.
And also very rewarding. So
I love it. That's what we need.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate all the great things you've shared with me, the great ideas. And I think that will be helpful to others who get to listen to this podcast. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you so much to Melissa Sprock, Director of the Learning Center and Foundations Program. We want to thank her and Indiana Wesleyan University for allowing us to share and celebrate their success. And of course, we want to thank you, our listeners, for joining us for this episode of Student Success Heroes presented by Engineerica Systems. Engineerica has partnered with hundreds of colleges and universities for over 25 years to bring them helpful software, tools, and technology to aid those who make student success their priority. Engineerica gathers valuable data regarding student attendance and usage of student services through academic center management systems such as AccuTrack and student retention and success applications like AccuCampus. Engineerica also works with associations and event professionals to provide solutions that help to manage professional development or continuing education training and conferencing events. We love our higher ed heroes and hope that we can all learn from them and their inspiring stories. We also want to hear from you and invite you to leave us a voicemail sharing your stories and thoughts with us. So this week, we invite you to tell us, what is one of your center's current goals or initiatives? How are you achieving it? Or what challenges have you uncovered? Whatever your experience, please share it. I'll leave a link to our voicemail box in the show notes. We look forward to hearing your messages and may play them in upcoming episodes. To help us keep this podcast going, please subscribe, share, and review the show. Thank you for all you do to serve your students. We wish you the best as we move forward. Take care.